Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho back with another video. Today I want to talk about my impressions of the entire Audeze lineup in Canjam 2021. Now, keep in mind Canjam is a really noisy event and I had about like 5 minutes with each of these headphones, and as well as I try to listen to my reference tracks with each one of those headphones if I could. Sometimes I couldn't, and so I take my opinion with a grain of salt, but I was generally listening for like tonality, if it sounded natural, and then, any technical performance that really kind of popped out at me, then I would, remember those. So the first thing I want to talk about is what I have in my hand. This is the HyperX Cloud Orbit S. This is essentially the gaming headphone, the Audeze Mobius, but without the wireless capability. Now this headphone is my familiarity with the Audeze lineup. It's a very good product. It has basically built-in EQ, so it's tuned better than like 90% of the closed-back headphones. And it's overall a really good sounding product with, planar magnetics and a closed back. And I think this is kind of like slept on, honestly. Like, this is a really good headphone at its price, especially when you can find this for like less than 300 because it's constantly on sale. But anyways, let's talk about the Audeze lineup. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. It helps my videos out. I think my subscribe ratio is really bad, so please help me out a little bit. And yeah, let's continue. So the first thing I want to talk about is the LCD5. Okay, the LCD5 was my favorite headphone in all of Canjam. In fact, I think it's the best open back headphone I heard. Like, I think it's better than Susvara. I think it's better than the Abyss 1266. It's better than the Utopia. It's better than basically all the open backs I heard. And the reason why is because I think its tonal balance is one of the best I've heard, as well as it has like kind of like the best in certain categories. For example, I think the LCD5 had the best bass I've heard the whole entire show. I even heard the like HE6 like 6-screw, and that bass was like, I think that actually had like more like impact, but it was like a lot more sloppier than the LCD5. The LCD5 has like really good impact, but it has really good clean bass. It's like super clean and super detailed that like I've never heard anything that detailed. And then when you move to like the mids of the LCD5, it really had what I think something like the Susvara has, kind of what we call the hyphen man mids. It kind of scooped out, versus the Audeze is kind of all filled out. And now the Audeze also has kind of upper mid-range too, due to their latest tuning for the LCD5, that its mid-range and its vocals are just really like excellent. And I think the worst part, or the lack of, I guess not the best area of the LCD5, would probably be the treble. I think the treble is just a little bit warm, a little bit too warm. So like it could probably use a little bit more treble up there, but compared to other headphones, it never gets like sibilant, it never gets harsh, like not at all. It's just like buttery smooth, and it's always just super comfortable with, like, it's basically detailed without feeling harsh. And I think that's what I like the most about the LC5 compared to all those other flagship headphones. Now, yeah, I think LC5 is my favorite. Now moving down to like, let's say the LCD4 and LCD3, honestly, the difference between like the 5 and the 4, I felt like the 4 was just as good. It had really good bass, it had really good detail. Maybe the tuning was just a little different, but the LCD4 is a really good headphone. The only thing about the LCD4, I think, is if the LCD4 is like $4,000 and LCD5 is like 4,500, but the LCD5 is like 400 grams, so it's like really lightweight, versus like, I think the LCD4 is like 700 or something. It's like, why would you ever buy the 4 when the 5 exists? So yeah. I heard the 4 and the 4Z, I believe, as well as, I forgot to mention earlier too, that I listened to LCD5 3 times. So I listened to it once the first day, and I listened to it twice the second day after I listened to a bunch of flagships. So yeah. Anyways, going back to the LCD3, the LCD3 was, to me, at least like from quick listen, it sounded very similar to the 4, and it felt just as detailed, and the bass is really good as well. So honestly, the LCD3 comes in at like $2,000, and I feel like that at half the cost of like the 4 or the 5. It's a pretty good value if we're looking for a headphone at like $2,000. So I did enjoy the LCD3. But then moving down from the 3 to like the X and the 2, I could definitely kind of hear the difference in like resolution that you're getting when you move down. I listened to the X pretty quickly, so all I can say about the X really is that it definitely deviated from that warm like tuning that Audeze is known for. Like they are known for like really good bass, but kind of a lack of the upper mid range, and then kind of a warm treble. I feel like the X was a deviation from that. So it was kind of weird after listening to all their prior headphones, like the 5 to the 3, but that's all I'm gonna say about the X. But when you move to the LCD2, I felt like that was, I mean, it's not fair that I'm comparing it to like the 3, 4, 5, but I didn't really like the LCD2 as much because I felt like there just wasn't enough like in the vocal range. It was just like kind of too warm in that area. And yeah, I mean, it makes sense though. It's their cheapest headphone. Well, I guess the LCD2C is the cheapest one, but I didn't actually try that headphone. But yeah, I didn't really like the LCD2 that much in their lineup. And then I listened to their closed backs, right? So we have the LCD-XC. That headphone was just a little bit sharp. And I mean, I really just preferred the LCD-X over the LCD-XC. It was just had a little bit of treble that was too much for me, and I just didn't enjoy it. And then the LCD closed back, LCD2 closed, that headphone also kind of had this like muffled vocal type of thing going on. It was just wasn't tuned to my preferences, so I didn't really like that headphone that much either. I would actually much rather listen to like the Audeze Mobius than like those two closebacks, which is like obviously like the LCD XC is like very technically capable versus like this headphone, but I feel like this headphone's tuned a lot better, so I'd rather listen to this, if that makes any sense. The other headphone I listened to was the Carbon. That's their electrostatic headphone. So the first time I heard electrostatics was at Canjam. So take that for a grain of salt. Like I'm still trying to get used to that electrostatic sound. They kind of sound less, I guess, weighty as like plein air sound. They kind of like, I feel like they move more mass and everything well. The electrostatics just sound a lot more delicate and like fast, and they just don't have as much substance to them. And to me, like if you're gonna pay the same price as the LCD5 as like a Carbon, I would definitely choose the LCD5 every single time. But I'm also used to planar sound, so that's probably why I chose that. But I still gotta get more familiar with them. And of course, I actually preferred the Carbon over like the Stax. I feel like the Stax is just a little bit too much treble top in there too, to be like very comfortable to listen to. But yeah, that's how I feel about the Carbon. And I didn't feel the bass was actually that bad on Carbon, because I heard like electrostatics had like, not that great bass. I felt like the Carbon's bass wasn't like terrifying. So yeah. And then, I mean, a random headphone I listened to was the Rawson Rad Zero. I know that they were like somehow related to Audeze in a sense, or at one point. And the comment I have for that headphone is that I actually think it's very close to like LCD2. It's priced more than that, but I think it's like, it reminds me of LCD2 in the same like category technically and tuning wise. So yeah, I don't know if it's worth its price, but it's a very beautiful headphone. And I kind of enjoyed kind of like just how it looked. It was one of the better looking headphones of the show, I would say. So please like and subscribe down below. It really helps my videos out. I'm gonna make some more videos. Probably gonna do a Dan Clark audio roundup, and then talk about all those other kind of miscellaneous headphones I listen to. There's a lot, like the Meze, the Z1R, the Final D8000, and all those other headphones I also had a chance to listen to. And I heard some IEMs too. I'm kind of new to the IEM game, but I know how they should sound. I know what good sound sounds like. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.